Erutaro-san. Hello everyone, it's Lel, and it's time to talk about episode 16 from Hirogaru's PreCure. The one thing I think I loved the most about this episode was that it was basically about a group of friends who come together to try and overcome a traumatic situation and have a positive overlook into the future. Because we're talking about a situation that can still be overturned. There was a big loss in episode 15 from Hirogaru Sky. Everyone is feeling down. And I love that the episode starts with a very dramatic and sad tone, with Mashiro doing a flashback talking about what happened, and they connected it very nicely with them explaining to Ageha what's happened in Skyland in the past days. And now they're already here, they are already in Soreshido, they're back to Earth. So things were very impactful to those four people. We're talking about Sora, Mashiro, Tsubasa, and El-chan. Obviously impactful for people from Skyland as well, but they don't really matter to the story as much as those four. And now Ageha is involved, and then we get to a little bit of exposition from Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo says that she has studied a lot and read lots of documents, and she was able to find some information on the Underg Empire, saying that in the past, Underg and Skyland have participated in a battle against each other, and since then they haven't interacted. But she also mentioned that Underg Empire and Skyland are like light and shadow. So Skyland is in the lights, it's a prosperous nation, and Underg seems to be in the shadows, seems to be a nation that isn't prosper like Skyland. And they don't know why they're going after L. Even though they don't know, I feel like the whole show and the whole narrative right now has made it kind of clear they're going after L because of her power. How do they know about this power? We don't know, but we've seen Elle using her power 3 times at least in the show while awakening Kuroskai, Prism, and Wing. We're gonna see it soon, or I hope it's soon, with Cure Butterfly as well. But Yo-Yo discovered that there is a way of them awakening the king and the queen again by gathering purified Lenborg energy, and then with that energy they will create a potion so that they will wake them up. I'm very curious to see how this is gonna go, but it's obviously good news. It's obviously something optimistic for them to look for the future. So they were sad, they started feeling a little better, but I like that in this scene what we see is that there's good news. They can awaken the king and the queen. So they go and tell Elle, your papa and mama are gonna come back. And she's not able to be as happy as them. She starts crying because she is the one that's probably the most affected. I mean, there's Sora too with Captain Chala. But you know, Sora is at least a teenager and Elle is still a baby. So Sora is more equipped to deal with losses. Even though it's hard for everyone, obviously for a baby like Elle, it's even harder. So she started crying, and I like that the show let her suffer, and let them feel down as well because of everything. I like this. But then Ageha, being the older one, being the most mature one, steps up with something, and then trying to at least get Elle's mind off the desperation that they're living. And I love that she created a puppet of Princess Ageha. I love that. Ageha, you are a queen. You're always serving. And then they decide to create a play. And Elle chooses Momotaro, which is a very traditional story, in a very traditional children's story in Japan. I don't know much about this story. I have never properly read it. I don't exactly know, but we do see some pieces of it in this episode. I really like that we see the characters, the main cast, playing certain characters from the Momotaro story while also giving it a little bit of their own personality. So Sora is playing a dog and she's always like, Hiro no deban one or something. Like she's barking while saying it. It's very nice. And they give it a Hirogaru twist to the story of Momotaro. But then, when the story progresses, they have to save Princess Aga, who has been kidnapped by the ogres. And one of them looks like Akaoni from Smile. I mean, Akaoni is based on an ogre, so that's a clear thing. And when they go to retrieve and get Princess Agaha back, they get scared and they're not able to continue because for them, that is a real thing. They're going against the Underg Empire. And for them, that is a scary thing. At the same time, we see Yo-Yo in her room looking at the sky mirage with the image of the Underg Empire. She seems shocked. I don't know what they were trying to convey with that scene. Does she know something about the Underg Empire? Is she wondering why the Underg Empire is attacking? Because she tells them she knows nothing about them and she couldn't find anything about them. But what if she does and was just not ready to talk to the girls and the bird about it? We don't know. What I know is that I don't know where that scene was, what that scene was trying to imply to us. I have my hunches, and my biggest hunch right now is that she is trying to piece things together to understand why the Underg Empire is doing what it's doing. So I really like that scene that they have to stop a little bit and remember they're going against a tough enemy who has been keeping them on their toes since the start of the show. Very interesting. Elle starts crying because, and Agaha says that feelings are contagious. So the girls and the bird were feeling down, so that gets to Elle as well. The one thing that I didn't really like much about that is that even though they're taking care of Elle, who is a baby, they're also still children. So they should be allowed to feel scared, even though they can't really show it to Elle. Like, come on. They're not adults. So why not let them be scared as well? So like Sora saying, oh, I failed. I have to be strong for, I don't know, just feels a little weird to me. I understand. It's part of Sora's personality. I get it. But you know, ease up a little bit. You're still 14 years old. And then we see Batamonda getting ready to attack. And here's one thing I love about that moment. Some things I love about that moment. The first one, the girls ended up going to the Underg lair. I don't know how it's called in the Momotaro story, but they end up going there and they start fighting. And at that moment, everything falls apart and Elle actually notices that those girls were actually the ones playing. And so Elle starts to try to engage with the play as well. She stands up, she walks, and she says everyone's names. All those 4 people have been trying their best to take care of Elle. Even though Agaha is not a cure, she is also trying her best. And it was very nice that Elle was able to acknowledge that by saying Agaha's name as well. She said Sora, Mashio, Tsubasa, and Agaha. That was so adorable. I loved Tsubasa's reaction to that. So it was really like a family getting together, doing their best to live through those dark days. Love that moment. Really like it. And then the next one is also golden with the birds arriving at Yo-Yo's and Mashiro's house and warning the burb of what was going on. That scene was so golden. I just cannot deal with that. It was incredible. I just love that they never really forget that Tsubasa is actually a bird and they're, trying to put that into lots of different places on episodes. I love that. And then we get to the fighting scene. We get to see Batamonda using the Underg energy, Adenborg appearing, the girls transforming, and the fighting scene started. This fighting scene was very interesting. I really liked it. It was very dynamic. And one of the things I love about this is that so far, it's a very simple thing, but so far we've seen Mashiro mostly using her beam powers in lots of different ways, but that's mostly her role. We don't see her kicking and punching this much, but in this fight, we saw that. She is still as versatile as she can get. I love that. And I really liked the techniques as well. And the one thing I found a little downside was that it was very easy for the Lenborg to almost defeat the girls and leave them laying down on the ground. I don't know, the Lenborgs shouldn't be this strong, or the girls shouldn't get almost defeated this easily. But still, very dynamic, and I also love the moments that they stand up, they're able to stand up. And I also love Batamonda's participation in this. Batamonda is very shady, because, he just says things like, "Oh my god, I am so sorry about Skyland. Oh no. The king and the queen are cursed. The captain is defeated." I just love this tone so much for a villain. He is so good at being a villain. I love that. Oh, and I forgot to mention a scene in which they connected to Skyland through the mirror pad. They talked to Betty and the vice captain as well, saying that everything was fine in Skyland. Things were okay. They were fighting back. They were, trying to regain their confidence again. The one thing I found a little strange about that was they were talking to Sora. So not mentioning Shalala was very weird. They haven't found her. I get it. But update Sora in the fact that they haven't found her. Why not? That was weird. But I do understand that the episode was trying to keep an optimistic narrative. And bringing up the fact that Shalala was missing would disrupt that feeling a little bit. I get it. So, that was also something that prompted a better reaction from them in the fighting scene. They were ready to defend Skyland's honor as well. Just also their honor. And during the fighting scene, we also had L for the first time mentioning their names as cures. Sky, Prism, and Wing. That was amazing. And I also like the fact that Elle doesn't like running away from the fights. She likes being part of it. And Ageha is right there with her. I love this. I love how Ageha is integrated into the story super strongly. Love that. And then when they stood up again, love all the techniques they created and the situations they created. Cure Prism being the one to start it all with her beam and light powers, that was amazing. I loved that. And they finished with Updraft Shining, and with that, Cure Sky was able to collect a little bit of the Lenborg energy and fill up the potion thingy. I wonder if Cure Sky is going to be the only one to get it, or we're going to see a mix of the cures capturing that energy. I'm very curious to see how this is going to go for the future. And the episode ended with the girls going home and Elle wanting to walk with them. The fact that Elle wanted to walk, it was great. It shows that she is growing up and getting more agency in the show. And I like that about her. Yes, she is a baby, but she is a magical baby. And, she's getting bigger. She's getting more action. She's learning new things very fast. I like it. And, the way the girls just followed along, it was great. Very cute episode. And I feel like it was especially a good one for people like me who are loving this group of people, this team of friends. I feel it's just really, really nice when we have, when we're able to take a breather, especially after those super intense last few episodes, and enjoy things a little in a slower pace like this one. Very interesting. Now my hero corner of this episode. My hero corner for episode 16 from Hirogaru Sky PreCure was the moment that the birds came running to visit Yo-Yo's and Mashiro's house just to tell Tsubasa that something was happening in the park. and Batamondo was there. Like, I love that moment and the shock in Tsubasa's face when he learned about the information. It was everything. Oh my god, Hirogaru Sky, you can be so amazing. I love it. What was your hero corner from episode 16? Anyways, babies, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinema channel, and I forgot to talk about next week's episode. It seems that it's going to focus on Mashiro, another episode that seems to be a little bit more laid back and a little bit more on their current lives, just living and enjoying their human lives as well. Anyways, this is it for now. If you've watched the channel, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.